All
Hello
right.
to all who is watching this, past, present, future. Um, this is Secular Media Breakdown here with my buddy Josh.
Hello.
Uh, we recently decided to cover what I think is one of the most interesting, in depth kind of biblical stories, even if it might not at least directly be truly a biblical story. It, like, people, when they look at Pleasantville here, this movie, they just see that it's, for the most part, a story that is kind of touching on that 1950s show charm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That being said, when you approach this story as a Christian, it is quite the trip. Down to
Yeah.
how the whole thing with color, a lot of people tend to say that it is a metaphor for sin being introduced to the world. And
And, yeah.
to a degree, you could maybe say that, but at the same time, it's more about people actually truly growing as people and changing in genuine, in depth ways.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's the I alluded it to how in Genesis how Joseph was given a coat of many colors.
Right. And to be real, um, it does still say something how the color started with the likes of sex being introduced to this world. A world that clearly was way more innocent beforehand, down to where any talks of sex was very much a case of, oh, I don't know what that is. Even though I'm like clearly an adult and am supposed to be the mother of two kids.
What's next? Yeah, this is the 1950s, all right.
Uh, Definitely a
Uh,
great cast, though, overall, with Tobey Maguire, Jeff Daniels, Reese Witherspoon. Everyone in general here did a great job, and I always had a soft spot for Tobey Maguire because of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. But this being a bit more of like a serious, a serious, maybe not so much intentionally a comedy, even though it kind of is in a smart way.
yeah.
But it's definitely very much a drama at its core, with especially how serious the themes can get here overall.
Yeah. Uh yeah, with the whole colors thing being introduced, I didn't say this before, but we could even take it a step further, and the first color we see is a red rose, which,
Mm.
rose representing love, and well, red is the color of blood. Maybe, um, I don't know, maybe
Hmm.
that's a reference to Jesus' blood.
Maybe haps.
Yeah, I
What
mean,
what
like,
is, however, definitely a direct, very direct reference was when Tobey Maguire's character David ends up eating this apple, which was like one of the first fruits to actually be growing off of a tree. and it seemed
Yeah,
to be a concept that started getting introduced as they started growing as characters overall.
yeah. Uh,
And
and
specifically, it was an apple that he ate first.
hmm
And
and
specifically, you have this character that is kind of. It's almost as if this guy is meant to represent God in this storyline. The TV repairman who happens to have the power to give David and his sister this,
Jennifer.
yeah,
Yeah.
Jennifer, this whole jumping into this TV world and telling you guys don't understand how good you have it. A lot of people would kill to have this.
Yeah, and like when they were freaking out, yeah, when they were freaking out about it, that's another way you can see him as representing God because they weren't being exactly appreciative, and that was hurting the guy's feelings.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
he literally ends up freaking like walking away like that and basically going silent on him for such a long time. And then he
yeah,
finally, however, it's more strange that he finally starts to go out of his way to try and stop them from getting to continue the life that they had there through these moments of growing as color is introduced. Um, he, like he immediately then reprimands him, for example, over the biting of the apple, as if he
yeah,
was specifically pointing out to what is, let's be real, a very direct reference to that moment in the Holy Bible, in the Old
yeah,
Testament, in Genesis, where Adam and Eve ate of the
yeah,
the knowledge of good and evil, and
yeah,
they
yeah.
and that was the first sin.
And yeah, even the step further in the Bible, Eve had Adam eat the fruit, and uh,
Mm.
David, or as he was calling in the universe, Bud, she actually fed the apple to him.
Mm.
So, yeah,
Yeah, that is definitely something to take note of there as well, I'd say. And
like it's yeah,
something that we both pointed out was the character of Bud's mother. I can't remember her character's specific name, but
oh
she,
frick, it was I can't remember either.
well, let me see if I can maybe go to the IMDb listing and see if I can see.
Yeah,
Oh,
let's see.
Betty.
Betty, yeah,
Um, how the minute that she starts finally coming into color, she was going out of her way to try and avoid going out and seeing her husband. Downright all worked up and worried and telling Bud, I can't go out there like this. And we
yeah,
decided to think about also that moment in Genesis where um, both Adam and Eve were going out of their way to try and hide from God because they were ashamed of being naked.
yeah, and him putting on the black and white makeup on her to make her look like she did is like them sewing the fig leaves together for clothing.
Right, right.
Yeah.
In the end, when you really consider moments like that alone, it's very biblical. It's kind of mind blowing how biblical it can be over just moments like that alone. And
Yeah.
Specifically, too, though, I think it also says quite a bit about um, how you have the Chamber of Commerce as kind of the main villain of the movie, as they are going out of their way to try and practically take over the entire the entire town and basically be able to tell what is or isn't gonna happen, what is or isn't rules, and even trying to literally laugh at David as he's like, "Well, don't we get a lawyer? You don't need
Yeah,
one. We only need this to be as pleasant as possible."
yeah. Yeah, and like
And when he finally freaking actually comes into color, the minute that he finally does have his breakdown and he doesn't hold back, that he actually could also not be pleasant himself. and
uh,
and then he freaking, the minute he especially had it pointed out to him by having to see his reflection, how he becomes colored and how he runs out of there in shame.
yeah. Yeah, like I said, like the whole Chamber of Commerce thing could be like you know, uh the equivalent of, the religious Pharisees in Jesus' day.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want things to change because it was affecting them. And yeah. Uh and then like you said, he ran out of there in shame, obviously, having like something pointed out to him. He didn't want to
He didn't want
admit it,
to
I guess you
accept.
could. Yeah.
And definitely, too, I also got to say that what's also kind of engaging is how much, for example, Jennifer, she actually comes into color when she decides to not be a slut anymore. Because when you see this character get introduced to you at the beginning, when they are in the colored world, Jennifer is trying her butt off to basically get laid with a guy.
Yeah.
And due to this, um, how she especially like how she was so worried about missing her chance to get laid with the guy. And then when she is in Pleasantville, she makes her first main um her first main thing. Oh, actually, this might not be so bad because that guy likes me and he's hot. And then she takes him to Lover's Lane,
Yeah.
and and if anything, even the likes of the guy that she slept with didn't seem to actually. At least I didn't see a moment where he seemed to have actually come into color.
Yeah.
That being said, though, she was then literally questioning, "Hey, why ain't I coming into color?" And David is like, "I'm pretty sure it isn't just as simple as having sex."
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
And then when she finally starts to care about studying and actually care about her future, she actually
Yeah.
finally comes into color the minute that she turns down sex for studying.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
kind of
moments
like
like that that
in,
makes the whole coming into color thing not appear just as a metaphor for sin per se.
right, because she chose studying over sex, like you said, so in a way,
And if anything,
that
that
alludes
ain't
to
sin so much as actually growing and becoming a better person there. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, and also, resisting temptation, obviously.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, as and then like it's yeah, like because like the Bible's instructions on lust specifically is to flee.
Right.
You know,
So,
yeah,
and specifically with Toby Maguire's character David, him finally coming into color was from him actually going out of his way to protect someone who needed to be protected. He went from
yeah,
being a little geek to this guy who really clearly he clearly grew so much from his time in Pleasantville in a way that he clearly was also not expecting to grow. Because at most, he was just going to go there and be a geek, he thought, to some degree. Even though he also didn't exactly want to just freaking go there and then be told, "Oh, no, this is your vacation even though you didn't ask for it."
yeah,
So if anything, when you think of moments like this in the story, the whole color really isn't that it's a sin as much as in many cases these characters need to reflect and realize that everyone there has been sinners one way or another.
yeah, and yeah, like it could be like the realization that they weren't truly perfect to begin with. You know,
Exactly. Because otherwise, they were trying to cling, hardcore cling, to this viewpoint of we live in a perfect world, this is a perfect place, everything's perfect here, there's nothing wrong here, and we ourselves are perfect, like as if they just couldn't ever accept that sin could happen to them or that they could mess up in life to even begin with. You know what I mean?
yeah, true, and yeah, like kind of like maybe like what my comment about the religious Pharisees, like maybe they were all in some sort of quote unquote religion, and like they thought they had to be like clean and perfect, and then like when they realized that they you know were not perfect, then that's when they started showing their true self, because as David said, it was in all of them all along. You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because thing is, that's David himself probably being the one who was willing to accept that none of them were perfect to begin with. He was the one who
yeah,
was willing to accept that they were that way to begin with, almost as if he was meant to be a messiah kind of protagonist in this storyline, who's bringing people to
yeah,
having that kind of realization to begin with.
yeah, and yeah, they yeah, like saving them from themselves from probably this religious mindset in a way, and like um
Of
sorry
practically embracing the Pharisee mindset to begin with.
yeah, and they probably, I mean, they probably weren't, you know truly happy to begin with when everything was the same. So
And the minute that there was anything starting to break, like they started to kind of think about actually changing their lives up and experimenting with how things were in a way where they actually end up walking away happier, having genuinely changed in a positive manner. Because in the end,
yeah, like
that just seems to be what is happening with the whole introduction of color rather than it being just simply sin.
yeah. Hmm. Well,
Because
yeah.
definitely sin is being introduced in the story. That much is very
Hmm.
clear.
Yeah.
But I can't really say that it is just blanketly meant to represent sin as much as it is a metaphor of them going through that change of especially having that self-reflection. I mean, after
Yeah.
all, the character who was Bud's dad, um, I'm trying to,
George.
yeah, George. He
Yeah.
specifically had that moment where uh, he's having his son literally talk to him. Let's be real here. You're not bummed about your wife because you miss the dinners, you miss this, you miss that. No, you miss her. And can you
Yeah.
really say that you're not going to accept your wife anymore just because she has changed and grown as a person?
Yeah.
And if
And
anything,
then
it's kind of almost like maybe perhaps how you could be talking to someone who, let's be real, many individuals have those moments where they think that marriages could end up ending because of someone actually becoming Christian, born again. You know what I mean? Like that
yeah.
is very common. How
Yeah.
that happens, and they think, "Oh, my marriage is over,"
Um, yeah.
and then
Um,
they end up actually really accepting not only how their spouse has grown, but they end up opening up eventually to growing as a person themselves too.
yeah.
So if anything, it's almost as if the color being introduced is more about specifically becoming born again and growing truly. Even though, let's be real, they are still sinning, and it isn't like they're exactly going, yeah, we shouldn't be sinners in this way or that way, as much as just simply that they're growing as people.
Yeah.
Because if this really was more about them becoming truly born again, it would be probably more about them actually having these self reflective moments of going, I have messed up in life and I want to change that.
Yeah.
Because that right there would actually far more be on point with being born again than the other way around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That being said, though, in the end, there really is still some form of people growing in one way or another, and it doesn't have to, and it isn't just blanketly sin in the end.
Yeah.
It is more about these people simply growing in one way or another. That is exclusive to them. That is their own um, their own character arc being completed.
Yeah.
At least that's probably the best way to kind of sum it up in the end, as I'm thinking about it. Minster
Yeah.
Johnson, that's the character that Jeff Daniels played.
Yeah, William Johnson. Yeah.
In the end, I'd probably say this is like up there as one of my favorites when it comes to
Yeah,
movies.
it's pretty good. Yeah.
Personally, I can't really say there's anything that would make me want to rate it under 10 out of 10, but that's just because of just how much I genuinely love this movie from beginning to end. Like, I could put this
Yeah.
on just about any time and be totally engaged every time.
Yeah.
In the
Um
end, how would you rate this, Josh?
I would say uh, at least at least a good 8 or 9 out of 10, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't argue with a 10 out of 10 rating. But yeah.
I mean, in the end, this is definitely, for sure, especially up there as one of my favorites from Tobey Maguire, alongside, him being easily the best Spider-Man on screen.
Yeah.
Because while I can't really say I hate Andrew Garfield as a person, because he actually at least seems like a nice guy. I just wasn't
Yeah.
exactly the biggest fan of how he portrayed Spider-Man as a character in the Amazing Spider-Man duology.
Yeah.
In the end, with those two movies, I wasn't the biggest fan of how Spider-Man was portrayed there.
Yeah. And yeah, I
And it's
mean,
definitely nothing against him in the end, because he really does genuinely seem like a nice guy. I will say this, though. I was very much I was very much not pumped when I started hearing Tom Holland talk about how he'd be excited or down to play a bisexual Spider-Man, and I'm just like, oh, what the hell's wrong with you, kid?
yeah, that is, well, but yeah.
It's pretty ridiculous, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, nothing
Especially
against
because
Tom Holland's
it,
acting, but I don't. Yeah.
but damn sure it's more so creepy that he'd be like, yeah, I'd be down to play some character bisexual in what's supposed to be something aimed at kids.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because even freaking X-Men was more appropriate, I'd say, even if it's had some adult themes in them.
Yeah.
They at least ain't freaking like pushing themes of sex around hardcore.
Yeah.
Granted, though, maybe that should be something we should do at some point. Maybe cover some of the Marvel stuff like that. If only because,
Yeah, I could see some biblical references in Marvel movies, but yeah. Huh.
I mean, it's a little hard to not at least consider it to some degree with a lot of Marvel storylines.
Yeah, especially heck, even I can even see it in like Captain America and stuff like that.
And
But
even
yeah.
with DC, with characters like Superman, he definitely has a lot of Messiah like reflective metaphors about his character.
Yeah.
He he's definitely engaging in that regard, down to how one of those older live action ones that was still in color and all that too, but it was before they did movies like Superman Returns and then specifically Man of Steel.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
there was this one that ended with him literally dying or giving up his powers to basically ensure this woman he loved her her safety, and it
Yeah.
was almost kind of like a Christ dying on the cross for our sins out of love kind of sacrificial kind of moment.
Yeah.
Granted, though, I have that moment playing in my head at all because of dumb old freaking robot chicken and them having that as a moment that they played as a joke, where he did it for
Yeah.
multiple women and even Batman, and Batman's just in the background crying, hearing how he does it to freaking bed everyone.
Mm.
Used to like Robot Chicken till I sounded like Seth Green is quite the creeper in reality.
Huh. I didn't know that, but yeah, I have watched Robot Chicken before, but yeah.
Mm. It's just it definitely is hard when you do hear about some people being creepers now. Uh,
Yeah.
like definitely the minute I heard about all that crap with Dan Schneider, it was hard for me to care to really uh, like iCarly or Drake and Josh the same way I used to.
Yeah.
And that comes from someone who like genuinely grew up with those shows and loved them a lot. So it was
Yeah.
it was pretty hardcore when you heard about Dan Schneider being a creeper.
Yeah, it also made me think about Victorious in some ways differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, aside from uh, perhaps some superhero movies that is coming to mind thanks to Tobey Maguire here. Um, Another that would be possibly engaging to perhaps cover in a secular media breakdown would also be Adam Sandler's Click. Since I own the DVD, I could stream it for us, and then we can do a breakdown of that. If only because it is definitely a pretty powerful story when you think about that in retrospect.
Yeah. It is yeah, it is quite interesting.
Hmm. I'm kind of thinking about maybe watching it a bit more again. It just admittedly, that first episode I saw was kind of super cheesy, but I got the old Adam West Batman all on DVD,
Yeah.
and there is definitely a charm to it. But that first episode was kind of hardcore. If only
Yeah.
because of how he just out of nowhere started breaking down, like freaking dancing like a total dork, and you're just like, oh, jeez. Like dancing, especially in his costume, which d- does look cheesy for the time still, too.
Yeah.
Down to where you're just like, oh god, Adam West Batman breaking it down like he's freaking seducing a woman on the dance floor as Batman, like it's no big deal. Just it was, oh boy. uh,
Yeah.
hmm. There's still Star Wars that I do think would still be super engaging simply because, let's be real, Star Wars is very biblical overall.
Yeah.
Um, hmm. Maybe because we did watch it at one point together, we could just simply do secular media breakdown as well for Atlantis: The Lost Empire.
Yeah,
Because just over the themes of the flood happening in the first place is very biblical in of itself.
yeah, pretty much. Oh yeah, that's something we forgot to mention with Pleasantville after the whole
Oh
colors thing.
yeah. I guess it's a
That
good
was the
thing that I
first.
mentioned this.
Yeah, that was the first time it started to rain. And then it's kind of like how before sin was introduced on the earth, like before things got really bad on the earth, it had never rained.
Hmm.
But yeah.
So, and also he actually mentioned sometimes, like they made mentions of not needing to worry about a flood happening or something.
Yeah.
Oh, almost
And a
as if
flood
though they
didn't
don't
happen,
know
but
better, though. To be fair, when they said it like that. Well,
yeah,
maybe because the only book that didn't get pages filled in wasn't the Bible at all. It seemed like one of the only books they didn't care to go, oh, yeah, you should read this. This would be kind of a
yeah,
trip to read, actually.
yeah. I mean, if there were no books to read, then how the frick did they have such a keen vocabulary?
Not only that, but how did they try to be so freaking innocent in Pleasantville to start if they didn't know about sin and how they needed to avoid sin?
Yeah,
I mean, definitely, it would have probably made for an interesting moment, though, if they did actually come upon the Holy Bible and they then had that reflection on their reality with the Holy Bible being read.
yeah,
At least it would have definitely made for an interesting moment in their reality. That's for sure.
yeah,
Hmm. Uh, you know what? Actually, I guess in retrospect, I'm kind of thinking back to the original Jimmy Neutron, and there was this YouTuber who seemingly said it more like a joke, and and I say this because it didn't seem like he was a serious Christian who had this reflection for a genuine reason. He said it
yeah.
seemingly almost more like a joke, but he had like a review of Jimmy Neutron, and he's like seemingly jokingly all, and then all the parents are taken away as if it's the sinners being taken away in the or the sinless being taken away in the rapture, leaving only the sinners. Ooh.
Uh,
And you're just like, actually, that is a little too on point here with this story for Jimmy Neutron.
oh yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
At the very least, it's a little hard to not kind of consider how maybe that could be engaging enough to maybe cover as a breakdown as well for secular media, perhaps.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um.
I do at least have it all on DVD. We would be
Yeah.
able to go through it all fine enough. Hmm.
Yeah.
There's still the Matrix, though,
Well.
as
Yeah.
well.
And true. Oh yeah. We never reviewed that. I don't think. Uh.
At the very least,
But yeah.
though, I did play the first one for you, right? If I'm not
Yeah.
misremembering.
Yeah. Yeah. We watched the first one together.
Okay, so then there's about three more, I guess, and
Yeah.
maybe including
Oh.
the game, I guess.
Yeah. And also about Jimmy Neutron.
Hmm.
it Jimmy being like the genius scientist pretty
Mm-hmm.
much, it does remind me of the how the Bible talks in like in the book of Daniel about how they will travel to and fro and knowledge shall peak, like
Hmm.
referring to the end time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
yeah, that kind of that kind
Hmm.
of is something to think about.
Yeah, you're right actually, because that is kind of making me reflect over that right now. Huh.
Yeah, I mean, like and like because it's kind of how a lot of atheists like to try to use science to quote unquote disprove the Bible.
Yeah, like somehow through
Yeah,
science they can surpass God, even.
yeah,
At the very least, it sure seems to be all too common as far as that's concerned.
yeah.
As
They
far as a theme, a story there.
yeah. Um.
Actually, I'm just now thinking of an anime that could actually be a bit interesting for us to do a breakdown of.
hmm?
Are you familiar with Sword Art Online?
Oh yeah. You've one you told me about it. I know what it is. I just haven't seen like all too much of it. Like I've only caught it on Adult Swim. Like,
A handful of times.
uh, eh, I mean, a few at best. I didn't even watch much of it.
To be fair, most people aren't the biggest fan of it after that first season because the second season introduced themes of like incest, which was a bit out of nowhere, and you're just like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, and yeah, a lot of people say that the second season wasn't as good. Plus, it like introduced guns and stuff.
Oh, they're thinking about what's probably the third season in reality
Oh, okay, okay.
with
Yeah.
Gun Gale Online, the
Right, right.
the VR game that seems a bit more dystopian, sci-fi kind of in design,
Yeah.
down to where one of the main weapons in that game is literally a lightsaber.
Oh, that's funny.
So, actually, though, more in the end, there's still quite a bit there in that storyline that could be quite interesting to break down biblically. Down to how at the very start of the storyline, with the first arc, the first season in the original game Sword Art Online, you have this creator who literally presents himself to his players, literally towering in the air above them all as if he's God.
Hmm.
And he literally is all, oh, yeah, you all seem to be wondering why the freaking logout button is missing. That's not an error. I actually programmed it this way. And you're all stuck here because I say so.
Yeah.
And you're wondering why I did this? And it definitely seemed like from the get go he had quite a egotistical kind of heart to him,
Yeah.
down to where he implants himself among the characters as if he is like the top player
Yeah.
because he's just able to practically hack his way into being the best player easily.
Yeah.
There's a lot to that story as a whole in the end, to where it'd probably be another engaging anime option to perhaps break down at some point.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
And I did throw Full Metal Alchemist as a suggestion your way, right?
Yeah, I still have yet to finish it, but yeah,
You have at least seen a good chunk of it now.
a bit. And close. Well, closer to. Hmm. There's like 50 episodes, right? Or 52,
Yeah, and that's
or
probably
50.
we're talking about the original,
Yeah,
since Brotherhood is only slightly longer.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
I need to get back
specifically,
on that. Sorry, what?
well, I mean, it definitely, especially when we will be able to get Vic Mignogna to be a part of this breakdown for it.
Yeah,
Like, I'd want us to be able to pull that off, especially because it really would, I think, help bring a lot of people to have that kind of reflection. Especially when Full Metal Alchemist is one of the most popular animes for a reason, and you can definitely tell why.
yeah,
Because it's a trip of a story in the first place. I'm just more
yeah.
surprised though that freaking we never saw Square Enix themselves actually develop a game themselves for it. I mean, you're a game company, a game developer, and you have the resources to pull it off, and you have what is known as one of the most popular animes ever. But nah, you're just gonna freaking just give the project to a really cheap developer and just go, whatever.
Eh, it's a yeah,
Kind of ridiculous right there. Well,
yeah.
at the very least, though, I guess that probably should do it, though, for our breakdown. I mean, because at the very least, I did want to also mention some other ideas so that people have an idea of what they may see next from us for these
Hmm.
breakdowns.
Yeah,
Because definitely us at least kind of keeping our mind on like what breakdown to do next each time is going to end up, I think, bringing a lot of people to also looking forward to our next video each time. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And definitely, I'm not misremembering that we've already done Inception as a breakdown, right?
Actually, yeah, we watched it and then we did the podcast. Yeah, or like we did the podcast like the next day.
And
Yeah,
definitely, I have a feeling that that was probably one of our best breakdowns so far, with the likes of
yeah,
doing Inception there.
yeah. Inception was very had a very great depth biblically.
Yeah, that's putting it lightly with how that story was. You know, though, because of also how engaging Christopher Nolan is as a director, he's
Yeah,
the same guy who was known for the Batman Dark Knight trilogy, which was probably most people's favorite Batman movies.
yeah,
And when it comes to those could also actually specifically be pretty engaging as well.
yeah.
but maybe maybe when it comes to people who end up commenting on our breakdowns here, maybe they can also throw us some suggestions too, and just, as things go along, we'll just, I guess, cover whatever people may end up finding engaging for these breakdowns the most.
Yeah.
Like perhaps we'll take it more as God should be able to help us help us know which breakdown to do next.
Yeah,
Heavenly
that's fair.
Father, me and Josh here, we come before you and we ask that you do help guide us to whatever may be the next breakdown that you may want of us. We pray for all of our friends, our family, our acquaintances, people who watch this, who share this around. And we also even pray for the actors, the directors, the writers, the producers, everyone involved uh, in these projects, so that as many people in Hollywood, despite how sinful it may be, can be saved and help bring as many souls as possible to Christ. In the mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
And thank you all for watching. God bless you all.